We can make trap. 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 We can make.
Sup guys, sorry I haven't posted a video in a while. I've been kind of busy lately, but I guarantee that this will make it up to all of you. In this tutorial, I'm going to go over how I more or less make a xKORE style bass. Now it's not 100% accurate, but I tried to replicate it to the best of my ability, and of course xKORE does a lot of processing inside the track that makes it sound even bigger and more fitting. But I think that it's a pretty accurate rendition of it. I took xKORE's song Hello as a reference while I was making this kind of bass, and what you're going to learn how to make sounds similar to this sound right here. This sound. What I've got here is a little pattern thing, and don't ask me what the song is, because I'm just letting you know now, it's by Skrillex, and it's called Awesome Skrillex Song that's not released yet because I'm a cool guy. And so here's how it sounds. So hopefully you can kind of hear the similarity right here. And instead of going and making the entire bass again from scratch, because it kind of took a little while to do, as you can see here by this extensive chain, I'm going to go ahead and just open each part so you can learn step by step, and I'll post the instructions up, like I'll have them fade in or do something cool like that. But like I said, it's not 100% accurate, so take me as I am on this. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open up Massive, turn all the oscillators on, and turn the amps all the way up, intensities all the way up. Make the first oscillator drive 2, Spectrum. The second oscillator is going to be Classic and bend minus, and the third oscillator is going to be drive 3 and bend minus plus. Then you're going to take down the pitch of oscillator 1 to -24, which is down 2 octaves. Oscillator 2, the same thing, down 2 octaves. And oscillator 3, you're going to take that down 1 octave. Make the wavetable position on oscillator 1 pointing just at the P of wavetable position. Classic, it's going to be all the way up. All three of these are going to be all the way up. And drive 3 is going to be just pointing right before the P on wavetable position. Push all the filters up to the top. Turn on a filter 1, make it a scream filter. Make the cutoff pointing at the T or just before the T. It's not going to be like a big noticeable difference. Make the scream point at the R, or in between the R and the E, and make the resonance pointing at right between A and N, and make sure that this is pushed all the way up as well. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the voicing tab, turn the unison on to monophonic, turn on the wavetable position and the pan position, make the wavetable position about 75%, pan position 3 ticks past the center. Then you are going to turn on a effect 1 and make it a teletube, and then you're going to turn the dry wet to where it's pointing right in between the Y and the slash. Make the drive point right past the E, and then you're going to turn on the EQ and make the high shelf point right at the L and the low shelf point right at the L. The L of low shelf, right. Go to the oscillator tab, and turn on restart via gate and turn up the time to about 30% or so. Then you're going to go to this modulation oscillator and turn on phase 2, or phase the second oscillator, and make that about 26% or so. Turn on insert 1, make it a sine shaper, and then turn the dry wet all the way up, and turn the drive up to about 45%. Go to your fourth envelope, turn the attack all the way down, or almost all the way down, doesn't really matter. Actually, I would suggest turning it up just a little bit so you can keep clicking from happening. Turn this level all the way up, and I think that's about it for this. It's a pretty simple sound by itself, but don't even bother trying to play any MIDI with this because it sounds like crap by itself. But we're gonna fix that. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to adding Omicide, which is the next plugin in the chain. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do in Omicide. Go ahead and turn the band, make it 690.4 hertz. It can be 690, it doesn't matter, somewhere around that area. Make the character, make it fat, 61%. The intensity at 60%, roughly 60%, and the gain at plus 15.2 dB. Make the type porridge, and make sure it's on this little O. And then you're going to go to band 2 and make that sharp 50%. Make the intensity 74%, 75% roughly. And the distortion amount is going to be 17.9 or 18. And then push this little upper frequency all the way up. And that's it for the Omicide. Once again, really easy to do. Still kind of sounds like crap. Gonna fix that up. Next thing we're gonna add in the chain is an EQ. In my case, it's EQ8 because I'm using Ableton, if you haven't got that by now by watching my other videos. So let's move on to doing the EQ. Okay, so what you're going to do in the EQ is you're going to take one band and make it at 55.7 hertz, 56 hertz, doesn't matter. Boost it 13.3 decibels, make the Q 1.14. Go ahead and make another band and take the frequency to 226 hertz and take the gain down negative 11.8 dB or negative 12 dB. And then you're going to make the Q 1.1. Go ahead and make another band. All these are going to be bell, by the way, bell curves. And so anyway, make another band at 1.11 kilohertz, boost it 15 dB, and make the Q 0.7. Make another band, frequency 2.32 kilohertz, gain negative 14.8, and the Q is going to be 1.95, roughly 2. And take your last band and make it at 6.02 kilohertz, 6 kilohertz. Boost it 7.38 dB and make the Q 0.7. And that's all you have to do with the EQ. The other thing I will say that you should do is go ahead and throw an auto filter on there and make it high pass at about 60 hertz, roll off about 60 hertz or so, just to keep the really low bass frequencies out and keep it a little bit crisper and a little bit cleaner. So overall, just to avoid muddiness, I took the Q down all the way so it just rolls off nice and smooth. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next plugin, which is Sugar Bytes Wow, and this is another really easy task to do. Okay, so we have Wow open here, and what we're going to do is we're going to throw on band reject, then we're going to turn on Val mode, Make the overdrive about 15%. Make the resonance just above 70%, like 71 or something like that. Make val A and val B E. Then you're going to turn the cutoff at 75% toward E. Turn the mix to 100% and turn the master down just a little bit, because after you're adding all these different effects and things like that, this bass does tend to get kind of noisy, so you want to kind of keep it under control. I think I even turned down the volume on Homicide as well, just a little bit. But that's all you have to do for this as well, for the wow. Next couple things we need to add are just some reverb and some finishing EQ, and that's it. Okay, the next thing you're going to add is a little reverb. Make the dry wet 15%. High cut it at 2.31 kilohertz for 4.04 Q. Pre-delay at 10, shape at 0.38. Stereo at 100, decay time 850, size 3, quality high. Diffusion on high and have it diffuse at 3.52 kilohertz. Reflect at 1, diffuse at 2 decibels. Turn the spin on, make it spin at 0.15 hertz with a Q of 20.9, 21. And that's it for the reverb. And then lastly, we just need to add a little bit of EQ. And the EQ, all I did here, just to kind of make it a little bit more noisy, or I guess I would say sloppy sounding, is I just ducked about 4 decibels at 1.4 kilohertz, and then I boosted 3.5 or 3.7 decibels at 7.28 kilohertz with a pretty wide Q, so that it covers a lot of the high end. And really that's it on the bones of the bass. The last thing that we really need to do is we need to group it all together into a instrument rack just like this. And if you don't know how to do that, in Ableton, all you have to do is you highlight your first synth or whatever plugin, and then you highlight the end ones so they're all highlighted. Press Control G, and then they turn into a nice little instrument rack like this. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to assign different knobs to macros, so that whenever we move our macro, it tweaks a bunch of different sounds at once, making that very drastic monster bass kind of sound. So in this case, what I did was I took band 1, and then here we go. Let's go ahead and start with massive, as a matter of fact. So as you can see, whenever I move this macro up, it looks like only 3 things are moving. Drive 3, drive 2, and scream. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with the scream, and what it's going to do is it's going to you click it where it is, where I told you it is earlier, and then you click, it should say map here, and then you click map, and then I made the minimum 0.35 and the maximum 0.84. I think that's, yeah. Right. Okay. Then you're going to go to your oscillator 1 position. Just click it, wavetable position, click map. This should pop up. My minimum is 0.25 and the maximum is 1. So whenever you turn the macro all the way up, then you can see the drive goes all the way up as well. Same exact thing for oscillator 3. Yeah. 0.25 is the minimum and 1 is the maximum. Now EQ8. We're going to make frequency 1. We're going to make the first band that we used, the 55.7 hertz. Click it, go over, map, and then it should pop up here. Make the minimum 55.7 hertz and the maximum 438 hertz. And then take the third band, which is this one right here, and then click map and make it the minimum 1.11 kilohertz, which is where you started, and make the maximum 1.43 kilohertz. So now whenever it moves, see, it moves very slightly, but it still bumps this up just a little bit, and that adds sort of like a little high end to whenever you open it up all the way. Last thing we need to do is map the foul cutoff of wow filter. So as you can see here, it starts at E, which is where I told you to start it, 75%. Click it, click map, make the minimum 83 or 0.83, and make the max 0.17. And then if you did it right, or if you have like a little MIDI keyboard with some knobs or whatever, then just in this case hit or play the key anywhere in the C2 octave, and then mess around with your little knob. And if you did it right, in this case I did it with automation, but if you did it right, then you should have a sound that sounds similar to this. The last thing, actually, I forgot one thing. What I did is I grouped my two together because, as you can see, I had to use two because my automation with Ableton is kind of weird. Like, I don't really know why it happens, but I guess it's just lag or something. But whenever I try to do an automation, it's kind of slow, and so I have to use two different channels if I'm going to do fast automations. So what I did was I grouped it together, and I threw sausage fattener on it. This is very important, actually, as a matter of fact. I threw sausage fattener on there. Make the fatness 8, 9, or 10%, it doesn't matter, and make the color 60%. Then I threw a little bit more EQ on there because I kind of like it to have that high-pitched sound at the end of it to make it like a brighter sounding noise whenever you open it up all the way. And then I just have mine sidechained from my kick and snare, so you know, right there. But yeah, guys, that's it. There's really not much to it, and the most exciting thing about it to me is you don't have to go make this and then go throw it in your little song. You don't have to go throw this exact bass in your song, because when you open up Massive, you can change these oscillators, and the more you change them, the more different the bass starts to sound, which I think is really cool, because you're not confined to one kind of totally overused sound. You can go and try to make your own original Skrillex sucks bass, you know, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, guys, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like the video, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. I say this at the end of every single video. It's probably getting old to you guys now. But yeah, I'll have links in the description to my Facebook and SoundCloud and all that crap. And also, I will go ahead and give you guys this instrument rack because it took me a while to make it myself. I don't want you guys to have to gain a horrific case of arthritis from constantly tweaking knobs and adding plugins and things like that. So, there you go. And I'm doing it because you guys are awesome and I love you all. No homo. No homo. Never mind. Anyway, see you guys in the next tutorial. I should have another one here soon. Give me some recommendations and I'll be sure to make a video to fulfill your pleasures. Okay, that's awkward.